Yeah, it's just like two fingers, so that's even too much.
Yep.
You got it. Yeah, that thing will conk right out on you. You're doing fine. I'm not trying to rush you today. Those guys were late, so we're 15 minutes late getting out of here right off the bat. We'll just take our time. There's never a rush if you want to ask some questions.
Transponder set to 1200. That's
and I did talk to Harry the other day, and he said this plane does have an automatic feature where it'll go from ground. It's probably set that way because.
Okay. Okay, and then release the parking brake, which it's released.
Yeah, we already have that
brakes,
off.
Okay, that's on. Okay, and so the before taxi checklist is complete.
Okay, so you can see what's the next checklist though.
Okay. Flaps as required. Hold on.
Yeah, we got. So we started the engine before taxi. So the next one's engine run up, and we know we're not going to do that till down there.
We do that down there. Yep.
So now we're gonna, and I'll let you taxi down here. We got a little time. We're gonna try and get taxied down there in about. I'm gonna set a timer here. We're gonna try and get down there in about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we want to finish our run up within about 8 minutes today, and we're gonna work that down to about 3 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, so you have the plane, and I'm gonna make sure you're not doing anything dangerous. And you'll always need a little power to get out of this rut here where the nose wheel is, and then you're gonna pull the power right back. So are you on the brakes at all? There you go. So now just take a little power out and a little right rudder. And just keep an eye on your wingtips. That's what we're most worried about. I'm going to open these vents a little bit. Yours is already open. These guys just had a nice short landing there. There's a little bit of wind today. Let's come way over here because we could actually hit these planes. So the yellow line is about 12 feet to your. So now stop here. We want to make sure. We want to make sure nobody's left or right. Now you can continue.
Now I gotta see where he's coming.
Oh no, we don't want to wait. No, he's got to do his after landing checklist. So if you wait, you'll be stuck here for 5 minutes. In the event that he was already moving, the lots. There you go.
We're going to taxi back to the ramp.
There you go. So now you need some power. Just a little to get going, and then it's going to be downhill here, so you'll need less power. A little bit of right rudder here, and slow down a little bit because this is we want to be like walking speed for the next 10 or 15 hours at least. This is even a little bit fast. Yep. There you go, right there. You're right on the center line. I'm looking up some tips I have here for you. So this is the danger spot where somebody hit the tail of one of these planes.
Yep.
That doesn't mean we want to go way over there. We just want to stay on the yellow line and be under control.
Line Hotel Bravo, back taxiing runway 26, South Jersey. And Flying W traffic got a white Baron on a wide right, downwind for runway 1, full stop.
So we also want to be listening to the radio now, so we kind of get a feeling for what's going on in the pattern. So,
do I want to make a turn?
Yeah, real slow. We're going to start slowing down, and we're going to turn slow way down here. Lots of brakes, lots of brakes. There you go. Because this plane will roll over.
Yep.
It'll tip. So let's go really hard right brake and a little power now. A little power to get moving again. There you go. And just be aware. I'm not like giving you a hard time. I'm I'm talking because. Let's go up this way just a hair. Yeah, we want to be. I like to do my run up pointed that way, and I want to leave a little room in case somebody needs to get up behind me.
I'm just gonna take. I gotta take this off. It's really hot right now.
So just watch that wire behind your head there. I'm setting these radios for you so we can keep moving. Next week we'll go over that. We're on 1228, 126, 475, 119, 325. That's all good.
Heavy traffic, Cessna 49324, remain upwind runway 1.
Yeah, it's usually better to be like a little bit underdressed in this plane because we do have heat. If it gets really cold out here sometimes, so just be really careful with these wires.
I was very careful.
It's the one up top that's the problem.
And Flying W traffic, White Baron, final runway 1, full stop.
So I was reading or watching something a couple weeks ago. I'm going to tell you what the quote was. It said, to avoid teaching in the world's worst classroom. So that's where we are right now. And what they meant was avoid trying to teaching the knowledge subjects up here.
Yep.
We're learning how to fly up here, but the hard work is what you've already been doing, which is working on your book work. We don't want to be trying to teach about aerodynamics theory in the air or how the radio and VOR, that all needs to happen on the ground.
Right.
So we're learning how to fly up here and use the equipment. And then the other thing I want to tell you is there are going to be times where I need to have my head down.
Yes.
Or you're going to need to have your head down when we're flying, programming, radios, check. So when that happens, one of us must always be...
You have the controls, we'll say you have the controls.
Well, no, not just that. I'm going to say I'm heads down. That means you are monitoring the flight path of the aircraft. And if I see you programming an iPad or playing with a radio for 5 or 10 seconds, you tell me, hey, I'm heads down. That means I'm monitoring the flight path because, you know, hundreds and hundreds of people have been killed flying into objects and terrain and other planes because everybody thinks the other person's paying attention. Okay. That's my lecture today.
Okay, that's fine.
And we should try to program as much stuff as we can before we leave. So radios are set, my iPad's set, we got the ATIS in here, the AWAS. So, all right, you can continue with your run-up checklist.
Okay, carpet is off.
Yep.
Lights on as required.
So we're going to put the landing light on, the nav lights, and the beacon on. And the pitot heat's on. Did you put that on?
I did.
Okay, so that's always off unless we're going to test it. Yeah, because that uses a ton of electricity relative to everything else.
Okay, trip 7 takeoff, fuel set to both. Heading indicator, recheck.
This guy thinks it's summer over here. He's... sorry, what are you checking right now? Yeah, we're going to check it on the runway, but it says 010 right now, and that's exactly... So you push this in and give it a little turn. And
okay.
So we know we're relatively close to the runway alignment here, so that all makes sense.
Okay. 1200 time note.
So I have a timer running.
Before takeoff checklist is complete.
So transponder, what was the one before that? Fuel selector is on both. You got that right.
Heading indicator recheck.
We did that.
Transponder 1200 altitude.
And it's not on altitude, so we're going to leave it here and we'll check it in the air. But Harry said this one's set to automatically.
Okay.
To adjust itself to on.
Time note, and then before.
So I have a timer running before takeoff. A check. Oh, sorry, we never did the run up though. Okay. Got to turn back one page. Sorry, you're one page ahead. We're right here.
Okay. Parking brake is set.
So we got the brakes by manually.
Flight controls free and correct.
So that's all you're going to do right now is give it one complete all the way back, making sure that that aileron goes down, that one goes up, they're rigged properly, that one's down, that one's up. And I can see that the elevator's working. We're not going to do a lot of pushing on the rudders because we're on the ground, that's going to screw up the linkage. And
got it.
We're just not going to do that right here.
Okay. All right, fuel quantity, we've got that. Mixture in.
So mixture is going to go full rich.
Full rich. Throttle to 1700.
So you can get that, and here's your tachometer right there. So I'm going to let you take the brakes because it'll be apparent when you start to move if you do. There's 1700.
1700. Mixture is lean. Okay.
We're going to leave it here for now.
Okay, I got to look for about a 125 drop.
Yeah, so you're going to go 2 clicks to the left. Okay, and you're looking for a drop.
Okay, drop?
Yep. And there's a little bit, you can feel it and hear it. So we're going 2 clicks back, and now we're going 1 click to the left.
Yep.
And you heard it again. Now we're going 1 click back. So I'm just going to verify that we're on both and that the primer's locked. That's all good for me.
Yep. Okay, suction gauge is 4.6 to 5.4.
It's in the green arc.
Yep. Instruments check.
And, well, we're going to check the ammeter down here. It's right in the middle, and the alternator light is not on. That's all good.
Fuel is good. Oil temperature.
So right now we just want to finish this because we're going to put the carb heat on, and we're going to look for about a 30 to 50 RPM drop. And I like to let it run for about 15 seconds to see if there's any medium-term change. And I don't hear anything that would indicate ice, so I'm going to put it back in. It should go up.
Throttle idle.
Yeah, we're going to bring it all the way back as far as it'll go. All we're trying to do here is make sure that when we pull it all the way back, landing, the plane doesn't conk out. So that's good to me.
That's all the way back, yep.
Now back to 900 to 1,000. So now, yeah, we don't want to leave the engine at 1,700 any longer than we have to.
Throttle friction lock.
So that's right here. This is a friction lock, so that looks pretty good to me. You can play with that if you want. Parking brake is released. So we're going to maintain our foot brakes.
And then engine run-up checklist is complete.
Yep, and now you're going to flip it over. And so flaps as required. So we didn't check them before. So watch the alternator, or watch the discharge on the ammeter.
Okay.
I'm going to put the flaps all the way down. And you see a little discharge, and it gets back to normal. So the charging system and the alternator working. So look at the flaps. They're all the way down.
Yep.
And I'm going to bring them all the way back up. And we just want to make sure they both come up together, that there's no broken linkage or broken motor, or that the thermal fuse hasn't gone off. So that's all good. So flaps are 0, mixture's full rich or density altitude. So it's
carb heat is off.
Carb heat's off.
Lights on is required.
Trim wheel, we missed. Oh no, sorry, lights are all on, yep. And then trim wheel, we want right in the middle there. That looks good to me.
Okay. Fuel selector is both.
The fuel selector is, that one you got to really double check, because that one can kill you.
Yep.
And then heading indicator, we just set, it still says 010010.
Transponder is set to 1200.
And I'm gonna check that when we get to 1,000 feet. Before takeoff. I got the time.
And before takeoff checklist.
Yep. And our rotation speed is 55 and VY is 73. So those are the two numbers we got to remember. You're gonna jam that checklist up there. And I'm gonna do my check now, which is just make sure, I'm going to turn all this heat and air off for a minute. We'll put it back on. So everything here looks good to me. You know, circuit breakers, we're on both. Got a radio set. I'm going to double check. I had a radio check 1228 Flying W.
Got it clear.
Thank you. Okay, so we know this radio's working. We're on COM 1. We never got the weather though, so we missed something on the checklist. So we're going to go over to COM 2, and we never set the altimeter.
South Jersey Regional Airport, Mount
I'm just going to show you where that is while we got a minute. Somewhere we missed setting the altimeter, so it was
03. Visibility
right here
missing.
Before taxi. That's okay.
Clear.
That's why we're doing this, man. Okay, let's grab the wind and weather.
-04 Celsius. Altimeter 29er.
So you're going to push that. There you go. You're doing it.
-1000. Present weather.
I'm gonna turn this off for a second. So it should never be reading minus 100 feet. So it was 29er, 97.
Estimated weather observation 1747 Zulu. Wind variable.
We'll just wait till it comes up again. We're not.
Visibility missing. Sky condition clear. Temperature 06 Celsius. Dew point -04 Celsius. Altimeter 29er.
29er, so it's just a tenth of a
present weather information not available.
That looks good to me. So it needs to be within 75 feet of our actual elevation. The airport elevation is 49 feet, so that'll work. 29er.
Wind 280
28004. So just, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing here. So I'm going to turn that off because we got what we needed. I just put this has nothing to do with wind, but it's a good place to put it. So my plane partner showed me this trick. If you put the wind direction in here, so I put in 280 and then put your fingers across horizontally, you're looking for any runway in the top half of this as acceptable. So we have runways 1 and 19er. So technically, really we should be using runway 1. Runway 1 is in the bottom half. So that wind, though, is from South Jersey, and I'm looking at the windsock, and it's showing us with a nice little headwind, quartering headwind from the left. So this isn't perfect, because that weather report is from a different airport nearby, and we have trees here. So it's generally correct. I mean, is that 280? Yeah, 280 is over that way somewhere. So we're definitely taking off on runway 1, because there is a wind here. And,
okay, let me make sure you understand. So if the wind is coming from out of 280, you want to be able to fly into the wind.
Yep.
So if we
So our runway here is 1 and 1.9. So 1 is down here, so it shouldn't be 1. 1.9 is actually it's actually dead on. It's either or. But if I look at that wind sock, it's telling me a little different story, that the wind is definitely favoring runway 1 here. So a little bit confusing. We'll do that again. It really works well at an airport where the airport and the weather are co-located.
Ideally, you'd want to, if this is 280, you'd want to maybe go out of like a runway of 100, right?
Well, I don't have a runway 100.
Right, but ideally, that'd be perfect, though, right? Okay.
No, I'd want to go out of runway 280. I'd want to fly right into the wind if it was available.
Yes.
Okay, let's get out of here because I'm just going to tell you one thing. We're right at 14 minutes since we started up, so just think that every minute, you're spending $350 an hour, right? So it's like $3 or $6 a minute. I forget what it is. My job is to help you get faster at this, and that's not going to happen for 6 or 8 hours, but just know that's why I'm pushing you, because A, we got to be back, and B, you're spending $6 a minute. And trust me, it adds up. Okay, you can get yourself over near the runway. There's nobody there, so we're just going to turn ourselves around. And then we don't want to cross the movement line yet. So it always takes a little bit of power to get moving, and then you can immediately pull it back. There you go. You're doing fine now. This is all good. So I can immediately see a guy on base here. So this is probably a really good time to just stop right here. So now you've kind of secured your spot in line. No one's going to cut in front of you. We are going to let this guy land, though, and that's going to cost.
49024 on final for runway 1.
Okay, so that's him. So, we could have snuck out of there, but that's like that's really bad airport etiquette.
Don't get close, trust me.
Yeah.
Your check, flying W.
Yeah, loud, clear, 1228.
Thank you. South Jersey.
Yeah, we don't want to do. Now, he's still about 2 minutes from landing, probably. Minute and a half.
South Jersey traffic.
And then it's going to take him another minute to get off the runway. So he just cost you $12 or something, or $10, whatever it is. But that's part of the deal, too. But sometimes when I'm pushing you to, like when we were back there, I was like, let's get moving. Trust me, I've spent all that money myself, and it doesn't help when the person in the right seat doesn't give a shit. Okay, so he's having a nice landing. He'll probably be able to get off at the first exit. That's going to be like right on the numbers. That's a nice landing.
Right down runway 2.
So let's see if he can. So now we got somebody behind us, but they're going the other way. So he'll probably get off at the first exit. I'm not a big fan of jumping out here saying line up and wait unless there's some reason or we're directed to. So we'll let him.
Bravo,
so he missed the first turn off. Don't know what he's doing. So let's roll up a little bit. Flying to be traffic, Skyhawk 739 Zulu Hotel. We're going to position and hold line up and wait for runway 1. Yeah, so you can taxi. We want to use the whole runway, so we're just going to taxi over there. I'm keeping an eye on what's going on here. I don't see any.
Traffic, 9 Hotel Bravo, final 26 South Jersey.
That's a South Jersey.
Flying to be traffic, Cessna 49024, clear runway 1.
Okay, so he just said he's clear. So you can get yourself lined up because we are leaving immediately. We don't want to stop here because we are in a very dangerous position if somebody could come in here. So just keep some power in. Now we do have wind out at 280, so give it some power. We want to get lined up. We're going to recheck our heading indicator, so nose wheel. And this now says, 010, this says 010, so let's get out of here. I'm going to just double check everything looks good.
Now what we're doing is give a lot of right rudder?
Yeah, no, all you want to do is put some aileron in because the wind is coming from that direction, so just full power. Don't try to put on the brakes, full power, full power. Yeah, nice and easy though. So I'm going to help you on the rudder pedals here. Just make sure you're not on the brakes. We're going to let this aileron come out, John, really gently as we start to move. So what's our airspeed? We're already past there, so it's little back pressure, little back pressure. There we go. So we got a little headwind today, and that really helped us out. There you go. So I'm going to let you have the plane here. So what were you looking for?
73.
73. So the runway alignment is over here, so we want to try and stay lined up with the runway. There you go. You're doing fine. And we have some airspeed to bleed off. So let's trade this airspeed for a little altitude by just lifting the nose really gently. We're going to be clear of the power lines. There's nobody out here. I don't see anything on the ADS-B. It looks good. I don't see anybody coming into South Jersey. And I said I was going to check the altitude on the transponder when we got to 1,000 feet. But look over here, John. It already automatically switched, so that's working fine. We don't have to ask that question again. So you're flying the plane, and I'll let you know if we're doing anything wrong. So this is a nice climb out. We're climbing out a little fast, but don't worry about it. So, I don't think I have my noise canceling on here, because...
South Jersey traffic.
Yeah, there we go.
South Shore cross with 26.
So let's go ahead and turn right crosswind. And keep an eye out for any traffic, and keep an eye on your ball. So you need a little bit of right rudder. You want to be nice and coordinated here. This is where people kill themselves in the pattern. So just keep an eye on that airspeed. And you got a death grip going here, man, so just relax. Nothing bad's going to happen to you. Okay, so I'm gonna lift the wing and look back at the airport. So we're not quite 90 yet. So remember I told you there's 3 silos. There's the first set, there's the second set, and there's the third set. So that line of silos, if you draw a line from those 3 sets of silos, that's about 90 degrees to the runway.
See it, yep.
And we blew way through. So I'm gonna pull our power back. We want to go way back down to 1,049 feet. So I'm going to do that quickly so we don't have a problem here. I should have been watching that while we were climbing out, but checking the altimeter or the transponder. So I'm just going to get you set up on a nice downwind here. And let's get exactly to 1049. So there's 1,100, and we're going to drop 50 more feet. And then we're going to set the power at about 1,800 RPMs. 1,700 is actually right there. So the handbook says 15. And when we're on the ground, I'll explain why that's not necessarily the case. But 17 seems to work really well on this plane. So we're at about 1049. Let's go down just a little bit so we get used to flying really precisely at pattern altitude. And let's see if there's anybody else coming in on a 45. So watch your altitude, though. We're going to hold right at 1,049. Okay. And look over here, John. We're right at 17. So we just want to see that sight picture. I don't know what that looks like out of your eyes, but there's going to be some distance between the glare shield and the horizon. We want to, if it goes, if it gets really big, we're descending. If it gets really small, we're climbing. So there's 1,000 feet. So we're midfield. Hang on, I'm going to make Flying W traffic, Zulu Hotel, midfield, right downwind, runway 1, Flying W. Okay, so we're a little bit low right now, but we're not going to panic. You can put the carb heat on. You don't want to try and regain the altitude here because at 1,700 RPMs, we'll just end up stalling the plane. Yeah, so you have to be careful when we're not at the right power setting. Like right now, we're at a really,
Put the carb heat on.
The carb heat's on.
Yeah, yep.
No, but with 1,700 RPMs, if you lift the nose, our airspeed's going to be gone in a second.
Okay.
So this is a dangerous part in the pattern where, you pull the nose up like this at this RPM setting, your airspeed's going to disappear.
Right off,
Yeah. All right, so let's put it in 1 notch of flaps. And there is the horse track right there. So we just want to do some really nice standard rate turns. So I'm going to let you turn. Wait another couple seconds. Let's begin a descent of 300 feet per minute approximately. Okay. So we're just going to put our nose down just a little bit, really slightly. So it's right there is the amount we want. And now let's go ahead and turn right base and watch the ball. Let's keep an eye on the ball. So we step, so you see the nose is coming up. So we're going to get killed here. So we're going to put the nose down. There you go, right there. When that nose comes up, you're always just a few seconds from being dead. Just remember that.
Okay.
We don't want to get killed out here.
South Jersey traffic, not Hotel Bravo.
Okay, so our airspeed's about 79 right now. You can add 1 more notch of flaps.
And nose is going to come up when I do that, though, right?
It is, just a hair. It's going to be a little pressure up. So you just want to have a little forward pressure. So this is fantastic what we're doing right now. We have a nice power setting of 1,700. And there's the runway, so clear the final. I don't see anyone. I'm going to help you turn this because I don't want to miss it. Flying W traffic, Zulu Hotel is 1 mile final, runway 1, Flying W. Okay, so we want to intercept. We don't want to overshoot, so we want to intercept from, and the nose is up too high, so we're going to push it down. You can add the last notch of flaps. We're just a little bit high. I'm going to take a little power out to help us get down there. So we're about 100 feet high at least right here, but we are stabilized at 500 feet. So now we're going to add a little bit of right rudder. So go ahead and add some right rudder. That's going to make the airplane turn this way, and we have a wind pushing us that way. So that means we're going to add a little left aileron, but you let the right rudder out. So push the right rudder in. The right rudder is keeping our nose and our tail lined up with the stripes on the runway. So we got full flaps and we're ready to land. That's runway 1 at Flying W. The wind is just coming about 15 degrees from our left, and we're a little bit high. So we do want to clear these trees. So I'm aiming for the second stripe, and I want to get my wheels down by the third one. This all looks good. Our airspeed's about 63. And here's where we start pulling the power out. And I'm going to pull the power all the way out. So we need the right rudder to get back over the center line, and we're just going to gently. So now we're on the ground, and we have to steer with our feet and no brakes unless we need them. And we're going to pull way back on the yoke to help us slow down and make our braking more effective. Now this guy should let us out because we're trying to get off the runway, right? So it's kind of his responsibility to let us off the runway because we would be blocking the next guy. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to not stop right here to do the cleanup, but you can grab it because we did just, he looked like he was in a big hurry.
Yep.
You can grab the checklist. Okay. We're going to do our after landing checklist right now.
Okay. Flaps up.
I'm actually going to pull over here because this guy behind me looks like he's in some kind of.
Yep. You got the control of the aircraft?
I have the plane, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he looked like he was in some giant hurry behind us. Let's just let him go by and then we don't have to worry about it. So we're doing our after landing checklist.
Flaps up, make sure.
I got the flaps.
Bravo, base 26 out.
Whoa. Yep, sorry.
Oh, 2 point. Yeah,
just a really small amount. Yeah, so look, this guy is giving us some look like, you know, we cut him off, but we needed to get off the runway.
Yep.
Okay, finish the checklist.
Throttle.
You're all good on the throttle. We're at 900.
Heartbeat off.
That's the one we don't want to miss. That one will kill you.
Landing light on is required. Trim wheels set for takeoff.
So I don't think we adjusted that, so I think you're good there.
Okay, after checklist.
South Jersey traffic, 9 Hotel Bravo.
So a lot of things happen really fast on that pattern, right?
Yeah.
And I'm talking a mile a minute, I know that, but you'll get used to it. So let's get out of here.
Okay.
Look to your left, make sure there's no planes. We don't want to. So just as an etiquette issue.
Yep.
So here's what should have happened. That guy should understand that it's very important for us to vacate the runway, right? Because there could be somebody landing behind us.
Right.
So the priority is for us to get off the runway quickly. Sure. He wasn't really slowing down, and I had to kind of pull in front of him to let him know we're getting off the runway.
Right.
And then, you know, he's in a big hurry. He's going somewhere. He's probably, you know, some knucklehead. I have no idea who that is, but he should have stopped, let us clear the runway, give us the right of way. Now we're going to end up in front of him anyway, so you can taxi down there. Right. You just don't want to be him, right?
Right.
There's an etiquette here, and people really take notice of poor etiquette, and it's also very dangerous usually. So we'll do some etiquette lessons and try to be the good guys whenever we can.
26 South Jersey.
But that was not what you should do. He should have come to a complete stop and recognize
and yield to us.
Yep.
If we get to get off the runway, really.
It's important for us because there could be a guy behind us, and he does not understand that evidently, which is okay. There's a lot of knuckleheads around here and at every airport. So when you see one, just stay away from them.
Yep.
And Flying W traffic, 4751 Tango is taking the active 01 for closed traffic.
So here's his second etiquette mistake. He's doing a run-up into a bunch of cars and planes, which not the best idea. That's why we did it. We're not doing a run-up, so we're just going right down here. Watch yourself.
Okay, yep.
Watch yourself. Yeah, the yellow line's way over here.
Okay, I wasn't sure if we were behind this guy.
Nope, no. He's doing a run-up, so.
Okay.
And he's doing it poorly.
Okay, that's why I thought.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the other. So grab your checklist. I have the plane for you.
Okay.
Grab your checklist. We're going to get set up for before takeoff checklist. Ready?
Okay. Flaps is required. Mixture set rich.
Yep, push it right in.
Okay, car beat off.
Car beat's off.
Nav lights on.
Yep, lights are on.
Both. Trim is set for takeoff. Fuel selector both. Heading indicator recheck.
Okay, that says 060. This says, sorry. Yeah, 0. No, sorry, that says south. I'm sorry.
South,
that's all good. I'll check it on the runway.
Transponder 1200 altitude.
Yeah, and it's going to be on ground for a minute.
Time.
I have the time.
And before checklist complete, VR 55, BY 73.
Okay, 55 and 73. Yep. Flying W 739 Zulu Hotel, departing 1. Flying W.
Right, crosswind for runway 26.
You can just get right out there. I'll keep an eye if anybody else is in front of us. We'll give them a little time. Yeah, so we always wanted to make sure there's no helicopters or anybody on base to final or even on the base leg. And just get yourself lined up at the runway and don't slow down though. Just let's keep moving because don't stop here. Don't stop. We got to keep moving. There you go. And we want to get back over here. So I'm going to help you out here. We want to get back on the center line. There we go. So feet off the brakes, feet off the brakes. And we're just using the rudder pedals. You're fine. Just grab the yoke. And all we're trying to do is maintain control of the airplane. So what's our airspeed? 55. So gentle but brisk rotation there. And we don't want to, pull way back because we'll have a problem. So this is it right here. We just want to have a nice departure, be able to see that we're not going to hit any trees and we're over the runway. So I'm going to give this back to you.
So we're over 73. We're about...
Yeah, we can just lift the nose just a hair. We are going to confirm that this switched back to altitude again, and it was only at 250 feet. So that's working fine. The guy that was in a big hurry is still back there doing his run up, right? So you can see the etiquette part of this is important because he looks like an idiot now, right? He had to cut in front of us for nothing.
South Jersey 9 Hotel Bravo taking off runway 26, South Jersey.
Okay, so when we get to about 500 to 700 feet, we're gonna, as soon as we get past these wires, I like to turn right crosswind, and that helps us stay away from these houses. So let's go ahead and make a nice, gentle right-hand turn. And so you see all these houses right here?
Yep.
So it's better to turn before them or right after them. Just, it's a noisy thing flying over them.
Yep.
But don't slow your turn. Once you start to turn, just keep it going.
Trying to do a standard rate?
Yep.
Standard rate turn? Okay.
And watch your ball. So you need a little right rudder. There you go. What time do we have right now? It's 1 o'clock. Why don't we fly over to, you want to go over to Hammonton or you want to stay here?
That's fine.
So it's about,
I just made it 90.
What's that?
I just made a 90-degree turn.
Yeah, that's fine. Yep. And so we want to actually depart the pattern. So didn't really, I said that after the fact, but we should go out and depart on a 45 from the departure leg. But we're gonna go ahead and depart the pattern from the downwind here. There's nobody here, so you can go ahead and turn downwind right now. And we're already above the pattern, so what we really need to be careful of is there could be somebody coming in here on the 45. So that's the most important thing right now, that we don't cut someone off or get killed. Let's just climb above the pattern now. We're already at 1,500 feet, so we've already kind of departed the pattern.
And how high do you want to go?
Let's go up to 2,000, and let's be parallel to the runway just so we can keep an eye on the 45. So you can see Atlantic City from here. Maybe we'll check on the way back. Maybe we'll be able to see New York as well. I don't know.
Public traffic 2158.
So Cape May is right down there, Atlantic City. That's about 90 degrees right there. So we're getting to 2,000.
Romeo, 7 miles from the east.
And what rate of climb should I typically do this at? Right now, about 900 feet.
You're at 1,950 feet.
I mean, in terms of
We just want to, so the first thing we want to do, if we want to level up, is let's take a little power out down to about 2,300 RPMs. And then you're just going to very gently put a little pressure on the nose.
What I was referring to was I was climbing at 900 feet per minute. I wasn't sure how fast I should be climbing.
Yeah, 500 feet in a Cessna is usually fast enough for everything. So we're still climbing a little, so I'm going to trim the nose down, and we're going to just, the power's set really nicely right now, and you can adjust the trim. I'm going to set us a little flight plan to Hammonton. And so this is one of those times where I actually have my head down, so I'm going to let you know I got my head down for a minute. Okay, so we want to be descending a little bit, so about 250 to 300 feet per minute. Now we're going to turn left base. And remind me I have these little pieces of the rheostat in my pocket.
Yep.
Now you know how those got broken off, right?
I know. I pulled on it.
No, somebody else did. Okay, timeout. So that's an Army plane right there, and they're doing maneuvers in the, let's go. I'm going to add another notch of flaps here for you. We just want to keep the nose. So that guy does not, he does have ADS-B on. So that's an Air Force plane. We want to get lined up here without overshooting. So I like to intercept from the side we're on. And there we go. The wind is pushing us that way a little bit.
Yep.
So let's get another notch of flaps in. We're just not quite perfectly lined up, but we're not at 500 feet yet. And let's take a little bit of power out, and I'm going to get the last bit of flaps. So we're a little bit high right now, and it's not really apparent from that PAPI light. And we're just going to add a touch of power here to stop our descent rate. And we're going to push the nose down. We're aiming for the second stripe with the idea of touching the wheels down on the third. I'm going to take a little bit of power out. What's our airspeed?
Right around 70.
Okay, 70's good. And we're still slowing down. So here's where we need right rudder to get lined up. And when we do that, we're going to have to put in some left aileron to stay aligned with the runway. So you can see I'm pushing the right rudder pedal in. Here's where we're going to start working the power out. So next time we go around, we're going to let you do that part. And we're just going to try and keep the rudder, pull that power all the way out now. That was just a little bit of a too steep of a descent rate there, but you know, nothing wrong with that. We're not going to hurt this plane with that. So we're gonna pull way back on the yoke and use equal braking. And we want to slow all the way down before we try to make the turn other way. Otherwise, the plane's going to want to tip out that way. I'm going to grab the throttle here, and we want to get off the runway. There's a lot going on here, though, right?
Yes.
And we were a little behind the curve there. I jumped on a couple things there, but that was, so nobody left, nobody right. We're going to pull up 2 plane lengths. So yeah, that was a military plane doing maneuvers out over one of the restricted areas. I'm going to just stop here, and you can do your after landing checklist. So I'm going to give you the whole plane back. We're at 900 RPMs, and you have the brakes.
Flaps.
Yep, just a little bit. Like 1 or 2 fingers is fine. That's just keeping the plugs from getting really wet while we're...
1,000. Off.
Yep, heartbeat can go off. And you could hear that immediately, right?
Landing light on for takeoff. Okay, and then after landing, checklist is complete.
So what we're going to do is we're going to do a departure here, and we're going to go back to the Flying W exactly how we got here, except our procedure for entering Flying W is going to be runway, what did we leave on 1? So we're going to enter 1. Sorry. We're going to do a visual approach to 1 using a 45-degree entry, and everything in FreeFlight is cheating as far as I'm concerned. But okay, so we're going to taxi back down there if you're ready.
Yep.
We did our after landing checklist, and this is a nice wide taxiway where you're not going to hit anybody. So I'm going to take my feet completely off and let you taxi down there. But try to control the speed. This is a really nice speed, no faster.
Yep.
And the center line's actually about 2 feet to your right. There you go. You're getting close. That's it right there. Maybe another foot to the right. That was good. So a little less power. If you feel yourself picking up, just
tap the brakes.
But evenly, otherwise you'll go shooting off right or left. This looks good though. A lot of stuff going on in these planes, and so when that thing falls, get in the habit of just saying,
let it go. Yep.
Not going to do anything dangerous, and we can get it later. There's almost nothing in that log or in that checklist that we can't
What
do.
I'm trying to do is get like a feel of the rudder, in terms of how much rudder pressure to apply. So, even when you were landing, I could, as you were landing, I could see how much.
So we're going to spend a lot of time doing that, because that is, once you figure that out, you're ready to solo pretty much.
Yeah.
So getting the nose and the tail lined up is the part people have the most problem with for some reason. They always want to, they get the rudder in and then they let it out. And as the plane is slowing down from 80 to 70 to 65 or so, you have less lift on the wings, but you have less lift in the rudder direction too.
Yeah, because you don't have as much.
Right. So is that
going across it?
Right. So is that rudder is losing its horizontal lift as you're slowing down.
Right.
So you have to add more rudder usually, and people forget that and they just let it drift back over. And then this thing, so that's somebody just said, so we're going to stop right here.
Yep. Altimeter 29 or 9 or 7.
So 29 or 9 or 7.
320 at 6.
So somebody just activated that. It wasn't us, but that's what we were listening for.
Celsius, humidity 4%.
Let's do our before takeoff checklist.
Condensation altitude 5,900.
Okay, flaps is required.
So we're going to go 0 today.
Mixture rich.
Mixture full rich, push that in.
Carb heat off. It's on, trim set. Fuel selector is both.
Yep. And just remember, take your time here, because everything you're checking right now can kill you, and it has killed people before. So mixture, trim wheel, fuel on both, flaps, and carb heat. All of those things can kill you if they're not in the right position.
Heading indicator recheck.
Yeah, so we'll just check that now. It looks like 275 and 275. We'll check it on the runway.
Automated weather observation at 1828.
We got a guy behind us and there's no one. So let me just, are you done with that?
Yes.
5573.
60 at 6. Sky condition. Clear. Temperature 7 Celsius. Dew point -4 Celsius. Humidity 4.
Hammonton traffic, Zula Hotel departing runway 3 Hammonton. Let's taxi right out there. This guy looks like he's in a big hurry now in the Aerostar behind us. That's okay, just get yourself out there. He's probably doing a flight check or, so just keep moving. When I said keep moving, I mean keep moving till you're lined up and then you can stop and check your heading. But we don't want to go real slow here because there could be somebody landing. You're at a towered field. So now you can get yourself lined up and stop for a second. This is good. We're going to check our heading. It says 030, 030. We're just going to reset that and let's go. Ready?
Okay, yep.
We just don't want to hold these guys up there in a really expensive fuel-burning aircraft. I'm doing my check. Everything looks good to me. I'm going to cover the throttle here.
Okay.
And I'm also just going to stay on the rudders with you.
All right.
So we need a little right rudder to get back over the center line. And no feet on the brakes here, and that's 55. Let's rotate. Ready? Back pressure. And a lot of right rudder and a little left aileron to stay over the runway. So the left rudder is counteracting the left crosswind that we have, and the right rudder, and the left aileron is keeping us aligned with the runway. Okay, so all we want to do is climb out at 73, and the guy behind us. I'm going to be
straight into runway 3.
I'm just listening to this guy behind us. So now there's a guy landing and a guy taking off. So we just want to let's stay runway heading here for a couple minutes, right on 030.
Okay.
We're going to climb.
Miles south of Hammonton, you coming straight into 3?
So they're talking to the guy landing.
Yep.
So let's stay a little bit aligned here, 030. I'm just watching our departure.
The towers too.
Oh, we're not getting near them, don't worry.
Okay.
We're just going to fly, so pick something out on the horizon.
Okay.
I can see like
that
a little
white tower there.
That one's not kind of aligned, but there is a white tower way out there.
I see that, yep.
we just want to stay.
You want to get the 2,000 again?
We're going to get to about 1,000, and then we're going to turn 45 degrees to the left back to Flying W. This guy behind us is in a really fast airplane.
Okay. Yep.
When he leaves,
he's going to blow by us.
He's going to want to get out of there. So I think he's still on the ground. So we can go ahead and start our left turn. 45 degrees to the left. So you're at 030. We're going to be heading at about what? 35.
Hammonton traffic is Cat 2936. We are a mile and a half southwest of the airport. We'll make it a engine out for runway 3.
There you go.
40.
Going on the left base for runway 3, Hamilton.
So all we're trying to do is get away from that departure path now.
716 left downwind, runway 25 behind it.
So I'm going to get rid of this frequency because there's a lot of stuff going on there that we don't need to monitor anymore.
Now, did you say that's Philadelphia?
That's Philly.
Okay.
What we're going to do now is, we're away from the airport, so let's go back and turn on heading to ditch intersection.
And what's ditch?
That's just an intersection over here. So let's turn to a heading of 025.
Okay.
That's somewhere right around there.
Yep.
And we're climbing to 2,000 feet. And watch that ball.
Yep.
There you go.
Left downwind, 02.
I'm going to take a little bit of, we'll leave the power set where it is.
Traffic, 24 Quebec is
That looks good.
right downwind, 26.
How's your hand doing? Getting better?
Yeah, well, I taped this so I didn't lose it. I learned my lesson last time.
Yeah, especially at night. I learned my lesson. I have 2 flashlights with me today during daylight hours. So that was a little crazy last week with one uncharged flashlight and a phone.
And I did order the headset.
Oh, good. You'll be
this Wednesday.
You'll be really excited about that.
It's the same one you've got, the Edge 20.
Yeah, you'll love that thing. Okay, we 025-ish. Let's go a little bit to the right. 025, 026. We're going to try and get right over to ditch, and then I'm going to switch over to McGuire here for a minute. So we do know that there's some military aircraft out here today, and they were at very low altitude too. They were probably at 1,000 feet or less.
2,000 feet VFR. We're going to right turns.
If you want, you can stay. Well, let's go to 2,000.
Yep,
and
the moment's at 2,000 at 1,900.
So do you see that water tower out there?
The white one right there, yes.
In front of us. That's the Vincenttown Water Tower. So if you want, you could just fly directly to that.
All right.
That'll simplify. We're descending a little bit.
I'm picking it back
That's
up.
all right.
Castle 2-3, you said you were going to be orbiting around the area you are now?
So Castle 2-3 is that military aircraft that we saw when we were on base.
Castle 2-3?
Yeah, I just want to see where he, traffic 5 o'clock, 2 nautical miles, 500 feet below. So let's find him. So he's behind us, no factor. We're not going to worry about that. There is a guy out here, though, which I don't see yet. So we're going to keep an eye out this way, because they're probably going back to Flying W. And then there's 2 guys over here at plus 600 and minus 100. And they are a factor, because they're kind of coming right at us on the same course. So
just got to drop it down a little bit down to 2,000.
Yeah, you can stay right at 2,000. And let's keep an eye out over here, because
approach square altimeter 2998.
I'm going to reset your altimeter 2998.
Yep.
That's direct Robbinsville, jumping to 604.
Cancel sign.
Okay, so watch your I'm going to take a little power out. We're going to go back to 22 and a half.
Yep.
We're not in a hurry. I still don't see either of those 2 planes. One is at our altitude, and he's right there. You got him?
I see him, yep.
That's the first one. Second one is right behind him, and he's at 700 feet higher, so I don't see him. He should be no factor.
Now, do you typically see those on your ADS-B?
Well, that's where I get an indication to look. So I probably wouldn't have seen him, because I would have been looking ahead.
Right.
But all these things work together with your eyes if you're doing it right. Okay, so now we got a guy in front of us turning at us, and he's orbiting over here. So he's at plus 400 feet. I do not see him. I don't know how far away. It's probably 5 miles. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. What I do want to know is where that castle...
I don't see that.
Yeah, I'm going to have my head down in a second.
Okay.
I'm not sure where he went, but he said he was orbiting somewhere. And I don't see him, so we're not going to worry about him.
And over 79, Mike, you can try 133.87 for Philly.
So we're going to head to the water tower.
Yep.
When we get to the water tower, we want to be at about 1,500 feet.
Okay,
so
you just start dropping down a little
bit.
bit.
Very gently, like maybe 100 feet per minute is going to get you there. So this is one practice area. This is Tabernacle and Shamong.
Okay.
We do some training out here once in a while.
We are drops complete. We're heading back to India Lima Golf at this time.
I don't know where that Air Force Jet went. He's maybe far enough away that he's not on our ADS-B. I have that turned off. But just really gentle. You'll get used to what really gentle is, but everything we do out here is really gentle because you can lose control of this plane in a heartbeat. So the sooner you get used to controlling it within some narrow limits, the better off you're going to be. Everything we do out here is, you know, standard rate turns unless we're doing steep turns or turns around a point. And all of our climbs and descent are under 500 feet per minute. Most, you know, unless there's an emergency.
Yep. Castle 50, you can try them on a 124.6.
So a little bit of bumpiness here from some thermal activity. Yeah,
see, and all of a sudden they started dropping. Wow. It's amazing.
Now we're climbing a little bit. So if you just find that spot, you got a lot of, I don't know, let me just have the plane, let me have the whole plane for a second. I have the plane. So if we trim this thing, and I think it needed to be trimmed down just a hair for what we're trying to accomplish. Look at this. Don't touch anything.
Okay.
So it should be flying with, you know, 2 fingers. Now, when you hit one of those bumps, that's not really going to work, but there's a 10,000-foot runway at McGuire facing away from us. You always, when you see that, you want to make sure nobody's getting ready to land, because sometimes they turn their ADS-B
right over there, okay.
Okay, so I'm going to give this back to you, but this is, you know, we're at 1,500 feet, so you can just hold 1,500 now. So we get there. When we get there, we're going to enter the pattern, so we're still at 2,200 RPMs. Everything looks good. We do need to reset this to 1228 for Flying W, so if you hit this flip-flop switch, any part of that flip-flop switch, it'll change the frequency from the standby to the active. So we're all set there. Let's come back and go around the water tower.
The ridge line on the 45 left traffic for runway 1, Lincoln Park.
Actually, you know what? We're
that traffic is just off Lincoln Park.
Where are we coming in on this? Yeah, this will work fine. Come around the outside of the water tower. We're actually going to fly a little. See that big warehouse up there? Yeah. We're going to fly up that way and then come back in on a 45. So try and stay at 1,500. I'll give you a new altitude in a minute. So there's always airplanes near the Flying W, and the closer we get to the top of the hour, the more airplanes there's typically going to be here. Somebody, I'm going to turn this down real quick. It's really annoying. So there's probably somebody going to be coming in this way pretty soon, so we'll try to avoid them. And that's the only plane I see at the moment. And they're actually doing some air work out there. We're going to go a little bit further out toward that. We're going to turn before that warehouse. Not that one over there, but you're on a good heading right now. Let's stay between these two, that black barn or whatever it is down there, red barns with the black. Let's just point at that, and then I'm going to give you a turn to the left in a minute.
Okay. Flying W, ready to check?
Loud and clear, Flying W.
Lincoln Park traffic, Flying W traffic, Cessna 49024 at FreeFlight ramp taxiing to runway 01 run-up area. Flying W traffic.
Flying W traffic, Skyhawk 739 Zulu Hotel. We're going to be entering a 45 for runway 1, Flying W. Okay. So we're not quite there yet, but look out your window and you see that big plastic covered nursery?
Over there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going to be turning to the center of that. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Nice standard rate turn. And we'll take just a touch of power out and we'll do this. We're going to descend and turn at the same time. We're actually climbing right now, or at least that's what our VSI says. We're going to point this plane right at the center of that nursery. It's kind of a V-shaped thing.
And then do you straighten it out?
What's that?
Then line up with that?
Yep, we're just going to get lined up here. Somebody's burning some brush down there. I hope that's what that is. We're still descending. That's good. We want to be at 1049 when we get to those red barns, which, when I say red barns, in the center of that nursery, at the apex of those two sides, there's red barns with white roofs.
Okay.
And at night, there's a pole there with some lights on it. So I'm going to push the plane a little bit to the right there.
Yeah, I'm looking for the barn.
So there's red barns with silver white roofs on them. So you see them yet?
Over here?
Yep, right in the middle of that nursery.
Yeah, I see those, yes.
So we're actually pointed at them, so make sure you're seeing the same ones I am. They're getting really red. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 of them.
They're right in the center, right?
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to take a little power out. You can do it, back to 1700 RPMs. We're going to make sure nobody's in the pattern in front of us here, because you can go ahead and put the carb heat on, because we're midfield right downwind. Okay, we're just a little bit low now, so we're going to add a little power, a little bit too low there on the power setting. So there's the airport right there. So we're now on almost on a right downwind. So there we go right there. Flying W traffic, Zulu Hotel, right downwind 1, flying W. Okay, so what else do we need? Got your carb heat on. You're slowed down into the white arc.
Yep.
You can add 1-notch flaps. Nope. Don't ever touch that red thing. Ever. You can do it, but we're going to have to land in a grass field somewhere, because sometimes the engine won't start. Okay, we're looking pretty good here. So what's our airspeed?
Airspeed is 80.
Yep. So there's the horse track. We want to have our nose pitched down a little bit. So
still trying to find.
That's okay.
I see the horse track.
There's the horse.
Trying to get my eyeball on.
That's okay. Just know where that horse track is. So 250 to 300 feet per minute.
Yep.
We're going to turn.
We want to be at 1,000, right?
No, we're descending now. We're descending out of 1,049.
Okay.
So here comes, that's the Wawa right there on Route 70.
Yep.
And Kirby's Mill, which is our lineup, flying W traffic, Zulu Hotel is right base 1, flying W. So we don't want to pull the nose up. You can add another notch of flaps. We're actually not in the white arc, so let's just lift the nose a hair. There you go. Now, there's Kirby's Mill, that red barn. We're actually really high. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to lose some altitude really quickly here. And I'm going to clear the final approach course. As soon as we line up here, John.
Yep.
Loud and clear.
01.
Samuel.
Flying W traffic, Zulu Hotel is 1 mile final, runway 1, flying W will be full stop. Okay, so I can't tell. It looks like the runway is clear. I see something down at the other end. So now we want to add the rest of the flaps. We want to look at the windsock now. So I can see it, but I can't tell. It looks like it's still blowing, kind of sorted down the, from 15 degrees from our left. The windsock's in the middle of the field on the left side of the runway. Now I'm starting to see the windsock a little better. So I'm going to take a little power out. We're at about 1,500 RPMs. What's our airspeed? 66?
No, we're around
66, 64.
Yeah, 65.
So we're a little bit high, so we're just going to push the nose down a little. This plane's not going to go too fast with all these flaps in. So we're going to push the nose down because we want to land on the second stripe. I'm going to take a little more power out. We're over the trees. And now here's the tricky part. Rudder is all nice and lined up right there. And I just want to add a touch of power because we're descending too fast. So we're going to work it down slow. And we're now going to pull the power out and just let this airspeed bleed off and see if we can touch down really nicely. So I didn't even feel that, did you?
That was very good stuff.
Yeah, so that's like a little trick with power and back pressure on the yoke. So I'm taking the power all the way out and I'm all the way back, all the way back. We're trying to get the nose wheel pressure all the way off. And we slow down before we turn so we don't tip. This thing's got tricycle gear, and if you turn too fast,
you flip it.
Well, I've never seen anyone do it on a runway or a taxiway, but people do it all the time. And it's because they try to turn and all that force this nose gear or this tricycle gear. And what we're going to do is fly out to the ditch intersection, which is
South Jersey 9 Hotel Bravo, turning base 26 South Jersey.
This is where it would be good to have another half hour available because we're going to We're going to end up a little bit tight on time getting back here, but we'll see if we can make it work.
Pottstown traffic, helicopter 26193, flight of 2 UH-60s, joining left downwind, landing 26.
You think holding around 2200 is good?
No, we should, let's go to 2000, just because that's what I told you, so I want you to get used to, if I say stay at 2000, just try to maintain that. It's a good practice.
South Jersey.
So when you start to descend back down, though, don't make it really radical.
Yeah, and I got to watch my airspeed also.
Right. So 500 feet is a good
traffic,
rule of thumb.
Turning base.
We're climbing again right now, so just doing fine. This is all normal stuff, John. We're right over the red line circle. We want to go to the ditch intersection, which is actually right in front of us, so that's just a little waypoint, and we'll be able to be staring at Hammonton when we get there. You're doing fine. We're descending at 500 feet per minute.
Yep.
And all we want to do is get to 2,000 feet.
That's what I'm doing, yep.
We're climbing again a little bit now.
Yep.
This is a lagging instrument. This is more instantaneous than this. So just use those things together.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get a feel for the
yep, that's fine. That's why I said let's go down to Hammonton, because flying around the pattern is going to get very monotonous till you get a little control. So there you got about 2,000. So let's just get the nose level.
Yep.
And we'll trim it and see if we can stay at somewhere around. Oh, so that's why you keep your seatbelt buckled really tight across your waist, because that's the kind of stuff that could break your neck. And who knows where that came from? There's a little thermal activity where we went from the woods to an open farm field, and there's a column of air rising up, and it was abrupt. And we flew through it. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Ditch intersection is just in front of us here. Where are we?
Final landing 26, Pottstown.
So our airspeed's about 105, and you'll find that about 105 is where this plane's always going to be when we're flying somewhere. So when we get to ditch, and by the way, I got to watch these birds, but there's another plane just in front of us and to the right at plus 1,500 feet. So he's up there somewhere. He's going to Hammonton too. It's probably one of our planes.
And my heading, what should my heading be?
So our heading, we're about to change headings here.
Right around 160.
Yeah, it should be 166 right now, plus or minus. But we're getting ready to see that. I don't know if you can see it, but Hammonton's right there. So let's go ahead and turn 30 degrees to the right. And I'll keep an eye on that other aircraft. He's in front of us and above us somewhere by 1,500 feet. And he's clearly on his way to Hammonton as well. The Hammonton Airport is right in front of us, about 10 miles out. Do you see it?
I see it, yep.
It's actually, let's see, 10 nautical miles away.
Is it this one or the
No, it's way out. It looks like a little paved strip in the middle of the woods.
I see. It's going straight?
Yep. Okay, so we're fine right now. This is actually a good spot to be in. I just don't see the guy in front of us. He's probably in a very similar aircraft as us.
I'm right around. I got to go back to 190. Okay.
Yeah, don't worry too much about your heading right now. That's the airport we're going to, so you can point your nose right at Hammonton.
Okay.
When we get there, we'll adjust for the pattern.
Is that the strip going this way?
It's that way. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 10 miles out, so these lakes are about 1.5 miles away. That whatever that white thing is probably 4 miles away, and the airport's 10 miles out. So there is another aircraft opposite direction over there somewhere. He's no factor. You can see Atlantic City. Philadelphia should be right to our right, right off our right wing. You got it?
Yep.
Skyline. New York is going to be pretty much directly behind us. We're looking at Delaware right now.
Okay.
The Cape May Peninsula goes down that way. You and I will be going down there quite a bit sometime soon. About 30 minutes away. Somewhere between 30 and 39, depending on what aircraft we're in. So we're getting kind of close. Oh, man. Jeez. Now I'm getting concerned that I need my shoulder. Yeah, so it's even more disturbing when you're not holding the yoke.
Right.
Yeah, I feel like my whole spine just became decompressed. So why don't you grab that checklist?
Okay.
And you're going to look for approach checklist.
Okay, do you have the aircraft?
Yeah, but get used to looking. Okay. So you can just hold on to it. So we need the ATIS.
ATIS approach.
Okay, so we need the ATIS at Hammonton. I believe it's on 1227, and somebody already put it in there. So we're just going to do the flip-flop and go over to... Actually, you know what? We're just going to set this in here, so... I'm just going to put it in our primary nav. So we're not going to get the ATIS or AWAS at Hammonton until we get a lot closer because it's triggered on the radio frequency. So what do we have after that?
Okay, let's see. The approach, okay. Altimeter and what's DG again?
Directional gyro, sorry. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at the DA.
Check and set.
So we're not going to be able to set that till we get the altimeter information.
Radio set.
So our radios are set for Hammonton. We're listening to Hammonton right now.
Okay. Runway determined.
Runway 25.
So we don't know that yet. I am watching the guy in front of me.
And what's TPA?
Traffic pattern altitude. So TPA at Hammonton.
Do
me a favor. See that turf farm over there? Just turn directly at that green grass.
Okay.
I'm going to put my head down for a second and set our flight plan. There you go. I'm listening to the guy in front of us. I'm just listening to the guy in front of us. I'm assuming he's landing runway 3, but I don't know yet. Kind of looks like he is. We're going to head over this way a little bit and also watch that nobody climbs out of the pattern. I'm keeping an eye on that. What else do you have on that list?
Okay, flight following contact.
So we're still on these roads. That's all right. Pattern entry.
Descent plan and approach checklist.
So we have to descend about 1,000 feet before we get there. So we're going to start.
Traffic Cherokee 6, departing to the south, Central Jersey.
So it looks like that guy may or may not be landing in Hammonton. He may have just overflown it. So the wind was generally out of the west. We don't really have a west runway, and I can't see the windsock yet. So we're going to try and get the wind at Hammonton right now. So it didn't come on yet. So I'm going to assume.
Departing to the west, Ocean City.
So you can go ahead and put that up. We're going to go over to the soccer field. We're going to enter the pattern, assuming we're landing on runway 3. And if it's not favoring 3, we'll do a go-aroround. Okay. So let's take a little power out and descend down to traffic pattern altitude here is 1065, but don't turn in yet. We may have to do a circle out that way to get to TPA. It looks like 1065. So I can't see the windsock, and we don't. I'm just going to make a radio call. Hammonton traffic, white Skyhawk. We're going to be inbound 45 for runway 3 Hammonton. So no ATIS. See, why don't we do this? We're not really descending much yet, so go ahead and drop your nose just a little bit. The Chislehurst Towers are going to be right out here. We're actually, go ahead and turn right. We're going to do a right turn 360 right now. So watch your ball. We need a little right rudder, standard right turn. You're going to see these 2 towers in front of us. We don't ever want to get near them. They're at 1,049 feet. There's 2 of them. They're both blinking. One is not painted white, it looks like, so it's harder to see. But don't ever get near those things, because at 1,000 feet, those would kill you for sure. So we're in a nice standard rate turn. I'm going to tell you when to break it off, and we'll be headed right in on a 45. So now we lost 500 feet. We need to lose 500 more. This is fine. Your ball is just about centered perfectly. You can add a little bit of, this is still death grip. Just relax. You're doing fine. Just be aware that that doesn't help much. Okay, so now we're coming up on 13 for 1065. So the airport's going to show up right a little bit to our right.
Is making a right turnout to the north.
So now we probably aren't going to be able to see the airport so well because it's behind some trees. So I'm just going to tell you where it is now. The airport is right there. Actually, I don't even see it anymore. There it is right there. So we're going to be inbound. Okay. We're going to point to the center of the field on a 45-degree angle. And there's our traffic pattern altitude. So now we're going to set the power to about 2,000 RPMs for the moment. And we just want to hang here. I'm going to make a radio call.
Okay.
Hammonton traffic, white Skyhawk entering left downwind for 3 Hammonton. Okay, so nobody at the Hammonton airport right now. We're on a 45-degree entry, and we're going to turn 45 more, and we'll be on a left downwind.
Got it.
So there's the windsock, and it does look like it's blowing down from this side, so we'll get that lined up. This is going to be a good runway for landing, I think. So now we're
runway 29, Cessna County.
Hammonton traffic, white Skyhawk, left downwind, 3 Hammonton. Okay, so look out the window. We look like we're just about lined up. The windsock is pointing down the runway. Can you see it right there? It's right out your wing on the ground.
I see it.
Okay. Let's get ready here, John. We need carb heat on. We need the power. I got that. Don't worry about that. Carb heat's right there. That's all right. Let's get a little bit of. Let's get. I got that. Ready?
Yep.
Just get no. Never touch that one. Power set to 1700. 17 is back 3. There you go. Perfect. And as soon as we get within the white arc, we actually can, so you can actually lower these flaps at like 115. So the first notch only is only, goes out 2 feet or 3 feet from either side. And if you put enough pressure on that, it's going to flip over, and it will. Okay, we're doing our after landing checklist.
Up.
And we're going to have to put this away because we're going to be right on time getting back here.
Okay.
And you got about an hour and 10 or 15 minutes in, so that's good.
Carb heat off.
Yep. All set.
Light as required. I guess we can turn that off.
We can turn the landing light and the nav lights off right now, I think. Just the nav light. We'll leave the beacon on at all times. Yep. And then when you're done with that, everything looks good.
Okay.
Yeah, we want to just double check that. That looks good to me.
And then trim wheel set. Okay, after landing checklist complete.
And then I'm going to let you taxi back down there. We need just a touch of power to get rolling. I know it's overwhelming.
No,
it will become less overwhelming every time you go out. You'll be more accustomed to doing more stuff at once. Your brain starts to adapt to doing 30. There's literally, I counted one time, like something like 25 to 30 things 35 things you're doing all at once.
Yeah.
And you're not used to doing that. It gets really fatiguing too. But eventually you get used to most of this, and it's always a good thing to have 2 people in a plane at all times, because if one person does get a little fatigued, you got somebody backing you up.
We're going to put it. Now, do you normally come in this way or
never? No, so that's like that's like a fireable offense if you try to drive through that. And people do it all the time, just don't ever do it. There is actually a painted line here, the old one, so we're going to try and follow it in. There you go. Now you can turn a little.
I see it.
So if you use this crack in the pavement
as a guide,
well, it is actually over that way a little bit, the old painted line. But somewhere right here will keep you from hitting planes.
Yep.
Where did we get this? Zulu Hotel is supposed to be in the far spot. That's not where we got it today, but that's where we're going to
put it back there.
We're going to put it over this way a little, over this way. Yeah, we don't want to. No. So just a little bit, I meant. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
That's my fault. Okay, let me just grab this for you. I want to show you what the trick is here. So we're on the yellow line, but we want to go over about 3 feet now, but not 25 feet because you'll hit the other plane. We're going to just try and line up our spinner with this guy's spinner. But I told you what happened to that teenage guy, right? Yep. So we don't want to get any closer than this. And I'm neutralizing the rudders now.
Yes.
So it's not like this.
Right.
Because the nose wheel will be stuck like this, and now we got to unstick it. So now we're not yet. We're going to get checklist out.
Okay.
We'll just put it back to 900 there.
Now, would this be shut down?
This is going to be shut down and then securing. So this is where you want to have your feet on the brakes. So there you go. You got it.
Okay, avionics off.